Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety splicket, go watch a movie! Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch a Movie episode 145. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Oh, today we are continuing our Directors Appreciation Month of August. And we're doing, well, I'm going to let Robert tell you what we're doing. Robert, over to you.
We're doing John Hughes. That is my pick for director. And I gotta say, I am a little biased. I grew up with watching his movies, so I mean, pretty much almost everything he's done I find amazing. And it's weird. He started out selling jokes. I mean, that's how he started out. He wasn't handed this huge thing and just ran with it. He started from the bottom and he worked his way up. And I mean, that's a success story right there after making the kind of movies that he's made. Unfortunately, he's already passed, 2009, I believe. So that sucks. So we won't be getting any more of these greats, from him. But, what he left behind, I think it is, I try to introduce stuff to all the young folks that I'm around. I'll be like, have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? And I'm always bringing up his movies because if you just look at the list of the things he's done, it's just awe-inspiring.
He's got a massive legacy. Yeah. And the movie from him you chose, sir?
We are first going to do Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, but before we get into that, a little bit of entertainment news. Have you ever seen the movie Stay Tuned, good sir?
That sounds familiar. Remind me.
It actually has the Principal Rooney from Ferris Bueller's Day Off as the devil.
Shows. Yeah, I remember that.
And it's like a crazy, you jump through this show, but it's not like driving Miss Daisy becomes driving over Miss Daisy. Mm-hmm. But it's becoming a TV show. And I think that is a perfect format if you're going to remake that movie in any way. I think they can do some magic there. What do you think?
There's definitely potential there. I mean, that is a good idea. I'll give them that.
It was a very different era when that movie was made, but Ritter and all those people, but
yeah, I think we watched TV more back then, though. And I feel like younger people maybe don't watch as much TV. I think they're glued to their phones and shorter clips of things. So
yeah, that's true.
I feel like the audience.
They're gonna have to do Netflix.
Yeah,
they have to do like Netflix shows and Hulu shows, and I guess we still have those. If they can get the rights to some of the stuff, and I guess they alter the name, and maybe the parody law will come into play with some of it, but. Like the Unclean Prince of Bel-Air, mm-hmm. Outside of the Fresh Prince. There's some stuff like that. We'll see. Because that one came out in 92, so they have a lot of ground to cover. And they did some older shows. But if you're not familiar with that movie, the devil they decided to get souls by using television. Basically, the devil becomes a satellite dish sailor, and basically you get sucked into hell, which is a crazy TV network. The more you watch the TV, you get your soul sucked into hell by this big satellite, and you get thrust into these crazy, more increasingly crazy shows. That basically, if you die, your soul is stuck there, but you can make it out if you make it to some crazy end. But yeah, Eugene Levy's in it as well, Mr. Eyebrow Man, and it's fun. It's a fun movie. One of my favorites as a kid. Moving on here, Quentin Tarantino. A while back, we got the news that he wanted to do a Star Trek movie. That Star Trek movie is happening, but it's going to be a little different. They say it's going to be a Logan-esque Star Trek film, And basically what he pitched to them was a rated R version, and it's going to take place centered around like a story, I guess, that was done in the old Star Trek days where they went to Earth and met up with mobsters, and they kind of became mobsters. What do you think, sir?
It sounds like, I'm sorry to say, kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, how can you not watch that?
I'm curious because I was not a fan of the original Star Trek series. I'm not ashamed to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's all on Earth and it's in a gangster setting. I don't know that episode. I'm gonna have to look it up and see. I mean, because that already sounds like Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to get there. You have to incorporate. Why are the Star Trek people there? Why is,
Yeah, I did always enjoy the episodes. Well, in Next Generation anyway, they had the holodeck, and they would always go back to where it was like a Dick Tracy, like setting, and they were like solving a mystery or a crime. I always enjoyed those. So if that's good, and Tarantino takes it and puts his spin on it and throws a little rated R in there, I think it might be okay.
You think everybody dies at the end?
Hopefully somebody dies. You gotta have a little bit of, honesty in our movies. It doesn't always work out.
But they said it will be a spin-off as opposed to a continuation of what's happening in the Star Wars movies that they have planned and have done.
Yeah.
So,
and if it's super, super popular, they're going to try to incorporate it even more so.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll see what happens with it.
But that'll bring us to let's discuss the showbiz. So, theaters are opening back up here. Are you excited?
I am. I don't see why we wouldn't. Just keep our distance and wear our masks when we're not munching on popcorn, and we should be fine.
There we go. I'm glad you went there, sir. That's the conversation I want to have. AMC's opening mid to late August. Regal is doing August 21st. So is Cinemark. Those are the big ones. And Regal has been going hard on the masks. The ads for wearing masks. All their employees will wear masks. You will wear masks. Concessions now. Therein lies the problem, because concession stands are still open, and you will get your food, and you will go into the theater, and you will have to remove said mask to eat your food. Now, I know what you're saying. Duh, Kelvin. Duh, that's how it works. They eat. Well, what's the point, then, of wearing a mask if you're going to be removing it constantly to eat and drink food?
Well, usually, you are absolutely correct, but I'm trying to think of, something.
I would say just don't do it. Just don't. I know they need their concession money, but don't open the concessions.
I don't always get popcorn or a drink. Sometimes I just go for the movie, so I'll be fine. I'll just go without and keep my mask on, and that should hopefully, keep me safe. But for everybody else, I hope they're just keeping their distance. I mean, with enough distance, I think it'll be okay. If you're sitting on top of people, obviously you're going to sit with your family. That's fine, but because you live in the same house anyway.
And how distant can you be in a theater? Like, there's only so many seats. Like, that's a very limited area.
You're not going to be able to get very many people in the theater, but I think it's workable. You have to brainstorm this. I think it's workable.
But now so let's discuss this here, because we're discussing the show business part of it, and everything else, I guess, that's going on right now. So this virus sits in the air for about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sitting there eating your popcorn, constantly letting it out and moving around, which blows it around. Somebody else below you sitting and eating their popcorn. You don't see a problem here?
As you get up and leave, you're not going to have your mask off when you're walking in to sit down, or when you walk out, you're going to have your mask on. So if you are walking through all that, you should be okay. And hopefully by the time you get outside, it's not,
But that's assuming it's going to be stagnant in the air.
Mm-hmm. And then in between movies, they should just extend the time a little bit, give the people enough time to run in and clean all the seats. Maybe.
But what about in between my popcorn bites? And there's a guy who's sitting 2 rows above me, and his mask has been on because he's been drinking. And
He should
now,
be at least 6 feet to 10 feet maybe. It's extended a little bit further than it has to be. So he won't be 2 rows behind you. He's going to be like way, way back.
so what you're telling me is I cannot get COVID if I'm 6 feet away from someone, mask or not.
They say it's less likely. So if you want to be extra safe, then you just have to take that upon yourself to wear that mask the entire time and not eat popcorn, and you'll be fine.
That's true.
Yeah. Just like washing your hands. It's up to you to wash your hands. No one's going to wash your hands for you. I mean, if I get COVID because I didn't wash my hands, that's on me. But I'm washing my hands, and I'm going to use my hand sanitizer, and I'm going to wear my mask, so I'm going to be good. And I'm going to enjoy my movie.
Like, as far as the people serving the concessions, like, I've been to these restaurants and gone to these drive-thrus. They don't change their gloves after every person as they should, and you know that's going to happen at these theaters. They're not going to change their gloves after serving every person. That's transfer right there.
I tell you what, there's a sandwich place. I don't want to say the name because I'm not trying to, throw their, There's a sandwich place, and they use gloves when they make your sandwich, and I see them. I've watched them at the various places. Mm-hmm. Every single time they're taking their gloves off, they're washing their hands, they're putting on a new pair of gloves. So it is the cashier / sandwich maker, whatever you want to call.
So the cashier does as well.
The cashier, usually the cashier and the sandwich person are the same person, but yeah.
Well, some of the ones I've been to where you're in the drive-thru, these cashier people are just one after the next, after the next, after the next, handling money, handling credit cards with the same pair of gloves on. So
I think
that's something I'm saying I want to avoid in a theater. Like, because if they imagine how slow that's going to be if they have to take the time after every popcorn scoop from this person. Now I have to go change the gloves and then I take the money, change gloves, which is how it should be. If you want to do it right, it needs to be that way.
Maybe it's too late since they're just about to open up to invent a popcorn machine where you just get your cup just like you would like a drink, and then you fill it up yourself by just pushing a little lever and the popcorn falls out. Maybe that's what they need to implement. But maybe
it's a long time ago.
Yeah. So I mean, there's ways around it. I don't think it's going to roll out perfectly. I think we got a while before it's foolproof. And by then, maybe we'll have a vaccine, so we won't have to worry about it.
I am. You said one of those buzzwords, vaccine. What? I don't know. Like, I want it to happen. I'm glad there are some innovations I've heard about, to where, like, there is going to be, I was playing devil advocate a little bit earlier, but there are going to be things like where you can buy your ticket and your concessions online, so all they have to do is hand it to you back when you get up there. You just say your name and they'll hand it to you when you get up there. Things like that. So innovations are coming that help with this crisis, but it's still a crisis nevertheless. So we'll see how it goes. I don't want any of you to get COVID. So I guess be safe when you're numbing on your popcorn. You feel a cough coming, quickly cover that mask back up or get your inner elbow up there or whatever it is.
They could, just had a crazy thought. They could wear those, because you've seen people with those plastic face masks, right? The kind that goes over your top of your entire face.
Those don't work.
But you can still, it's kind of there, it's something.
I mean,
even if it's the illusion of safety.
I've seen those and I'm like, wait, there's a giant gap at the bottom of that thing.
No, I was just thinking you can get popcorn through that gap. So,
that's true.
I was just thinking popcorn gap.
And a straw. It's a straw, perfect for straw. It'll be interesting. Like I'm more than anyone, I'm sure, ready for freaking theaters. This is not going to be easy going back into normal life. I don't think we'll ever be normal again after this, but
I haven't been normal for years, so it's fine.
There you go. But we'll go ahead and end that topic and get over to trailers. You first with me, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Antebellum. is my trailer for today. There's a teaser of this released, and then another little mini trailer. Now the full trailer is out. This is like a time traveling horror movie. And it looks, with Janelle Monáe, it looks so interesting. I love time travel for one. You toss in these, I don't know what's chasing them, but it's like it starts with her in Odin slavery times, and then it goes from there to her taking selfies out in front of a theater, and it flashes back and forth between like our time and those times, and like they're like in the cotton field picking cotton, and then all of a sudden a plane just kind of teleports in and then teleports back out, and the whole time there's like when they're watching you, and when they want you, they never stop until they get you, and it's like and it's the crazy awesome music, and I don't know what's hunting her. They do a great job, even though this is the third trailer, of masking what is actually doing this time distortion hunting thing. But it looks pretty amazing. Have you seen this one?
I have not. I'm definitely going to check it out, though, because it sounds great.
Yeah, it looks so fun. And like I said, horror. You give me horror and time travel, thanks to this show, horror now.
I'm so happy.
I'm sold. Good, sir.
Mine is called The Owners. And this one caught my eye because it reminded me of like 3 other movies. So you remember like Don't Breathe, right?
Yeah.
Like the kids go to break into the house to steal somebody's money or whatever, and the guy's like, I think he's blind. Yep. And then there is Greta. You remember Greta? Got this crazy old lady. Definitely don't want to hang out. You definitely don't want to hang out with her. And then there was The Visit, M. Night. You got the kids going for the visit with the grandparents, and the grandparents may not be who they seem. So you put all those things together, and you get The Owners. So this group of younger people, all right, and they're going to go break into this house. It's still something. I don't know what's wrong with kids nowadays, always stealing. And then the old couple, they come home. And so they have to kidnap the old people because they came home before they were able to finish their heist. And then the craziness ensues. It's just the old people eventually somehow end up in charge of whatever's going. First they're being held captive, and then they're holding the people captive. And there's just all this crazy stuff that happens. And again, it reminded me of 3 other movies, and usually that's a turnoff for me. But for some reason, this just looks like they're trying to maybe do it better. Not to say that those other movies were bad, but they're taking this like almost like it's a new genre or something. It's like, oh, people are scary, don't go into their house. So I'm kind of excited for it.
Oh, people will fuck you up.
Yep.
This has Arya, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw this one, and old people already creep me out. So
they're running with it. The old people thing is becoming huge.
Imagine the smell of mothballs on your back of your neck, and this old man breathing, and some false teeth fall down your shoulder. Oh God, it's terrifying. Well, that will bring us to the living legend that is Ferris Bueller. Watchbot, if you would not mind.
Ferris Bueller. Matthew Broderick has an uncanny skill at cutting classes and getting away with it. Intending to make one last duck out before graduation, Ferris calls in sick, borrows a Ferrari, and embarks on a one-day journey through the streets of Chicago. On Ferris' trail is high school principal Rooney, Jeffrey Jones, determined to catch him in the act.
Thank you, Watchbot. Happier times when this movie came out and was made and created. Just the amount of fun you have when sitting down and watching Ferris Bueller. Matthew Broderick at his best, if you ask me.
Yes.
Other than that 1999 Godzilla. I'm joking. Kidding, of course. But no, it's him at his best, and I would be remiss to say this was at his peak. Like, he's done great stuff, but, like, he's known. Like, he is Ferris Bueller.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I can't say enough good things about this freaking movie. But where do you stand, sir?
I can't. I've watched this obviously many times, but I've never really sat and watched it where I was like critiquing it, so I could talk about it, intelligently or halfway intelligently, like I try to do. And I gotta say, I could not find a flaw. Maybe it's because I just love John Hughes. Maybe because I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't know. But I feel like this is one of the few movies that just appears to be flawless to me. So I'm interested to see if you find anything wrong with it, because I can't see it just because I'm in love with the thing. So I'm if you find anything wrong with it, maybe it'll open my eyes to any mistakes that may be in it that I just don't see.
I like, as far as the film goes, like, the quality of it is amazing. The acting is it's comedic. The timing for everyone is fantastic, especially him and Cameron. Like, they all just mesh so well.
I feel like it was. Go ahead.
My only issue is Ferris Bueller is an asshole.
He does have a little bit of he's cocky. You're not wrong.
He is not this golden boy hero that everyone makes him out to be at all.
But he is, and I will explain why.
No. Let's go. You have a little second. Let's hit here. Let's go to what I'm going to call "Where Are They Now?" The Ferris Bueller cast. So let's start with Mr. Rooney.
Oh, no.
Mr. Rooney. Now we come upon Mr. Rooney all these years later. He is still serving time for the copious amount of parking tickets. He has a breaking entry charge and a sexual assault charge, all because of Ferris Bueller. He was received 30 years in prison for all of that. Ferris's sister has never moved out from her parents because she needed to prove to them that she was as good as Ferris, but never quite could. So she just stayed there and eventually went missing because she kept dating the Charlie Sheen character. So we come to poor Cameron. The worst of them all. Poor Cameron had the tragedy happen when his father came home and saw what happened to his vehicle. He snapped and murdered Cameron. And all of this happened because this asshole wanted a day off from school. These are the facts.
Interesting points.
Like, this principal just wanted this kid to be a good student. And yeah, he did some things that maybe went a little bit far for a principal. His sister got tired of her brother always getting away with everything. Cameron just wanted to stay home in his bed because he was actually sick.
Mm-hmm.
Sloane, like, don't even get me started with Sloane. She eventually became his 13th wife because he didn't marry her right away. He became a playboy and married other hookers. Like, and then now she has a dead grandma. Like, that's in her school record that one of her grandparents is dead.
Well, she's not staying there forever. It's fine.
Another year of it. She can't use that excuse anymore. No, but yeah, he just comes off as kind of he's fun, and I would love to hang out with him, but he kind of comes off as a prick.
Yeah, I want you to look at his choice for best friend. Was the exact opposite
Yes.
of him. So that's interesting in and of itself. But I also want to point out that this was kind of their last hurrah. They were about to be separated. One's going to different schools. One's still got to stay in high school for a year because she was a year behind. Not because she was dumb, but just a year younger. And then, so this was kind of their last hurrah. This was him doing something nice for the people he cared about who were closest to him. This was about him getting Cameron out of the house and having him mature a little bit so that he could make it out there in the real world world when he does go away to school. He needed to be able to stand up to his dad. And this day, in a way, was sort of his Ferris Bueller's plan to do that, as well as spend time with his friends or his friend and his girlfriend, and just live a little bit of life.
Do you know, during that speech where he talks about, you know, I'm going to go to this school, he's going to go to that school, he says Cameron's going to get married, and his wife won't love him because she has no respect for him, and you can't love somebody you don't respect. That's his and Cameron's relationship.
But in a way, maybe he does recognize that in him, but he also recognizes the potential, and he gets him out of that. He helps him work through that. And after this experience with the car and the dad, he's not going to be, you know, he's not just going to go marry the first woman he sleeps with. He's a stronger individual now that he had this outing with Ferris.
It was an eye opener for him. And everyone needs that. Everyone needs to throw caution to the wind at least some point in their life, even if it doesn't have to be as major as pretending to be the Sausage King of Chicago.
He needed to loosen up.
Yeah, I agree with that. But your friend shouldn't strong arm you into that either.
Yes, but a good friend will not only be there for you during the good times, but also during the bad. And when things are bad, what's that?
I will give Ferris credit. He did say, "I'll take the blame for the car." Like he did. He was stand up.
He realized when it went too far, and he had to step in when he was just trying to, help Cameron grow some balls, or let's let his balls drop because they hadn't dropped yet.
And Sloane's just alone for the ride. She didn't seem to her parents were the
only weird thing was that when, and I hate to jump ahead and ruin anything for that film, but if somebody hasn't watched it, but when she was undressing, not that there is an undressing scene, y'all, but when she undressed to put on her swimsuit and Cameron was apparently catatonic and saw everything, Ferris wasn't really mad about that. He just sat there and laughed and giggled. He's like, yeah. So
Ferris don't care about her.
I thought that, but he loves her.
She's just arm candy until he moves. Because as he was running home, another spoiler, running home,
he couldn't help himself.
Two ladies out there sunbathing. Whoa, hey now, hey, I'm sorry.
He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself. He's an exaggerated character, which is one of the things I forgot to mention about John Hughes that I love. He found a way somehow to perfectly create a character that seems grounded and real, but he exaggerates them just enough to make them these extraordinary characters. He doesn't do it too much because then it wouldn't be believable. It would be this ridiculous, clownish, slapstickish thing instead of the characters that he does create.
Yeah, and Ferris Ferris is this larger than life human being, but at the same time, he's still a human being. Like he's not, you don't see him as what's an example, I guess? He's not like, fucking, what's the guy in Deadpool that I hate?
Gotcha.
He's not like that cartoon guy, but yeah, it is interesting how he does that, and Ferris is a great example.
You see, and you do see different facets of his personality. You see him when he gets angry. You see him when he's apologetic because he lashes out at Cameron. You see him when he's being lovey-dovey with his girlfriend. You see all the parts of a human being there. Even though he's this larger than life thing, he's still relatable. Even
when he did get angry, though, apologetic, he still was an asshole because he follows it up with, "But you did fuck up."
And he wasn't wrong, though. He wasn't wrong. He was just speaking the truth.
He just beat his best friend who didn't want to be there in the first place.
I'll quote, he lightly slapped him.
No, I'm poking fun because this movie is so perfect, so I did create some things that don't exist. But it is, it's just fun the entire time you're watching it, and so many iconic moments that as soon as they're about to start, your brain is like, oh my god, this is that part. I'm so happy, like the parade, the two guys in the car, still the car,
and tributes to other movies like Indiana Jones. I think they made a tribute to that sort of kind of, or not Indiana Jones. I'm sorry, James Bond, when he introduced himself as Ferris Bueller or whatever, and he said it just like James Bond would. Star Wars, obviously, when the two guys are in the car and they the scene where they jump over the hill kind of, and then like they're playing the Star Wars music. I mean, there's hints to other movies, which is great, which kind of all just melds it together. I feel it feels almost ahead of its time to me. And yes, there is the famous fourth wall break that everybody loves in Deadpool. And no, Ferris Bueller was not the first movie to do it. However, it's one of the first ones that I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, this is back in 1986, so this is an older film, but man, it felt new and fresh because I hadn't seen it before. Actually, it was 1918 was the first time the fourth wall was broke. Yeah, in a movie called Men Who Have Made Love to Me, which just sounds like a weird old porno, but nonetheless.
We'll say Ferris Bueller was the first.
Yeah, he's the first. So, yeah.
And we got Ben Stein.
Yes.
Ben Bueller. Bueller. Like, he has that character in that movie gave that man a career.
And the fact that Charlie Sheen can be in it for such a short period of time, yet have that big of a moment, it's just it's kind of ridiculous. Like, wow, that's how you write a character.
Let's talk about his parents for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems he didn't care so much about getting away with it from the principal until the end. It seems like his parents were the main focus of what he wanted to, avoid getting caught by.
Well, yeah. Who wants to get caught by their parents when they're doing something they're not supposed to?
Yeah, that's true. And then he's a freaking genius. Like, he hacked into the school system on the DOS program.
Well, he wanted a car and he got a computer, so what else is he going to do?
Porn.
If he would have got a car, he would have been a race car driver. He probably would have been robbing banks. Probably.
We would have got well, my memory's gone. Never mind, scratch that. No, but his dad is an idiot. His dad saw him no less than 3 times.
Yes.
And somehow,
he was probably just worried about his son, so he kept thinking, I just keep seeing him everywhere because I'm so worried about him because he's at home sick.
Yeah.
And sometimes to a kid, even though I don't think dads are clueless, they can sometimes appear as clueless to kids. Like, we're getting away with this thing. There's no way he knows about it. He was probably doing the same thing when he was a kid. So,
oh yeah,
he's just too busy, closing this deal or closing that deal to worry about it.
Yeah, and bringing home the bacon. Even though I guess the wife had a job as well.
Yeah, they both. They had a heck of a house. I gotta tell you. Did that house? Because I know John Hughes also produced Home Alone. Even though it wasn't the exact same house, did you get that feel like it was kind of the Home Alone house? Especially when Rooney was trying to break into the house. I kind of felt like this was Home Alone before it was Home Alone.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, or no one's home.
Yeah, basically. Well, the sister was home at one point.
Yeah, when she pressed charges against Rennie. And that gorgeous Rottweiler. Oh man, he was a handsome fella. But this is I can go on for days with this movie. Any super standout moments for you?
It's hard to pick one because they all are just so freaking amazing, all the way from the opening all the way to the end. I even like the after credit scene. It's like, that was still, I don't want to say ahead of its time, but I keep using that phrase, but man, it's just I don't know, mind blowing to me. 1986.
For me, it's always going to be the run home scene, trying to beat his sister and the rest of the family, because all these things converge, and he is doing these, even still, as he's just doing something simple as trying to outrun people, he's still going through these epic moments. Like, his life is just this one, the most sensational thing after another, running through, like, the houses and don't get up.
I really like the dance number, the whole parade, and then the strange, just random dance number that kind of happens right in the middle of it. It's you see stuff, similar things like in another. I won't name the movie because we're going to watch it later, I guess. But he does this in other movies as well, and I just love that he incorporates all these things into a movie. He just doesn't go just one route. He like kind of takes from here, takes from there. So I don't know. I feel like this is I hate to say perfect, but man, it feels like
I've only used it one other time, and it was with Back to the Future. I think this will fit. I think this fits that title.
This is up there, no matter what anybody says. This is.
Do you have Rotten Tomatoes pulled up, good sir?
I do. The tomato meter, actually, it doesn't surprise me. I figured it'd be around this number. It's 80%, but the audience score is a 92%.
There we go.
About 728,000 ratings. So
there we go.
That is impressive. That 8% though, I just don't know what those people are thinking. I mean, did they watch it on a bad day? Were they angry at their spouse or what was it? Because this movie is just so much fun. I can't get enough of it.
They probably were sitting there thinking, this guy's an asshole.
Even though I own the thing, every time I see it on TV, I still stop and watch it just because it's that good to me.
That's pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. That is episode 145, our second into our Director's Appreciation Month, and just perfect book. And as we said last week, Kevin Smith even drew from these, definitely drew from John Hughes. Next week will be my second pick, and it is another Kevin Smith movie. Try and guess it before then, and shoot us the messages. But where you can find us at GoWatchMovie.com, the one-stop shop for all things entertainment. The movie news that I spoke about is there. The trailers are there. If not, they're on the socials, which are Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all Go Watch a Movie. We have a TikTok. Some clips from the actual YouTube show get tossed up on there. I don't dance. I guess a TikTok as long as it is allowed to exist. But that's 145. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Go watch a movie. Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety-split it. Go watch a movie!